A forest entomology section was established in the early 1950s as a department under the East African Agriculture and Forestry Research Organization, EAFRO. The section became the custodian of the insect reference collection, which the Kenya Forestry Research Institute (KEFRI) inherited from the organization and maintains to date. There has been considerable staff turnover of those responsible for the collection over time. As such, the reference collection is currently in the hands of newer members of staff who do not have the historical and technical background skills to backstop the expansion and maintenance of the collection. This implies that important information is likely to erode over time unless the transfer of skills is well documented. This realization prompted the Institute to embark on digitization of not only records but also technical skills through development of digital training material. This video covers collection methods of wood borers, specimens from living trees. The demonstrations took place on 2 selected farms on diverse dates between May and June 2022 after borer infestation reports were received from affected farmers. Dr. Dickson Waliaro is a farmer based in Kajiado East Sub-County of Kajiado County. He called KEFRI Central Highlands Ecoregion Research Program (CHAP) to seek help after noticing some of his acacia shed trees had developed some problems and were not healthy. KEFRI CHAP entomology team planned a field visit to Dr. Waliaro's home to establish the cause of the problem on his farm. He welcomed the team and made a brief presentation of when he noticed that problem and for how long it had persisted before he sought for help.
The reason I called you, we had this is the largest. We have some behind there, and there was another one here. You see that one which I cut, and that is the one which started drying up. So I didn't know what was happening, and that is why when I called your place and asked them to come and see what they could. And I also noticed this big one was also dying back. Yeah, in fact, when they came, this is the main thing they wanted to check out. And this one eventually died. They died. Yeah, they are tolerant, but I don't know what is happening. Yeah, but this one seems to survive. Yeah, I think it will survive eventually. Yeah, maybe it's seasonal, I don't know. Yeah, these insects, in the night when there's light, they come out.
The team then proceeded to inspect the affected trees in order to ascertain the cause of the problem. This training video is based on this visit and captures the method applied to verify a wood borer infestation in living trees. The first stage involves inspection of affected trees for the presence of some dead parts and looking out for wood frass on the ground. It can also involve active listening for gnawing sounds from the inside of the tree. On this particular occasion, the team observed frass that came out from the holes made by the insect borers while living inside the trees.
What happens is they get inside, start boring, and at the end of the day, you see the frass coming from the tree. That is a good indication to tell you that the tree has been affected by borers.
Frass is the fine wood powder produced by the activity of boring insects. The affected trees also exuded resin from several holes, a true indication that the trees had been affected by insect borers. Producing exude is a protective mechanism by which the tree covers holes made by borers to avoid entry of other agents of destruction. The downward movement made by insect larvae within the trunk and branches of the tree creates internal galleries. Black ants are opportunistic insects that sometimes feed on the sugary exude produced by the tree after it has been attacked. They usually move up and down the tree to and from affected parts. Their presence can therefore at times indicate borer attack. Examination of a tree to reveal presence of wood borers. The tips of the branches are examined for scratches as an indication of areas where borers lay their eggs. The branches can become delicate once they have been scratched and break off easily. After the eggs are laid, the larvae emerge and start boring their way down from the branches towards to the trunk. Some borers take quite a long time before they become adults, sometimes as long as between 15 to 20 years. Attempts to locate eggs laid on the branches of this tree were unsuccessful.
Once the larva emerges from the egg, it will now continue boring up to the trunk, all the way up to the trunk. Before you see the damage, it might have taken 15 to 20 years. Yes, before you notice. See how delicate it becomes once it has been infested. It breaks very easily.
The next stage of this inspection involves a scrutiny of the tree and assessment of the damage caused to the affected areas. This requires careful cutting of the affected branches to check for the presence of the wood borer larvae in split parts of the branches. Methods used for collection of borer larvae. It is recommended to have equipment when splitting the affected parts as follows: secateurs, a sharp panga, axe, chisel and mallet, and or a power saw in case the affected areas are quite wide in diameter. While using the power saw, one has to be very careful when cutting the wood into portions so as to avoid damaging the specimens within.
So part of it has been destroyed by the machine, but we'll split and see. Yes, we'll split and see. Yes.
For smaller diameter portions of the tree, a panga is well suited to split wood in order to expose the hidden specimens. As the branches are split, a change in the temperature of the wood at times causes the insects to move further inside. On this particular day of collection, the larvae remained inside the cut branches. The specimens were collected by pulling the larvae out of the galleries using forceps. The feature of the specimens revealed the active borers were immature stages of longhorn beetles that were accompanied by other unidentified non-borer insects specimens that were collected besides them. These specimens required further examination for more comprehensive identification. Preservation of immature wood borer specimens. The immature stages of insect borers are soft-bodied and can desiccate and lose their original features rapidly during the process of collection. They are therefore immediately placed into plastic, screw-kept tubes where they're preserved in Cahel solution to fix their colors and features. Paper labels written in pencils are placed in the tubes to indicate the location of collection, the tree host species, the activity of the insect, symptoms of damage caused such as making galleries in wood, date of collection and collector's name. Once back in a laboratory, the contents of the tubes are sorted and labeled. Management advice as given to the farmer. In the case of the tree from which the specimens were collected, damage was very extensive and the tree could not be saved. The team, however, advised the farmer to prune and burn the affected branches as soon as frass is noticed on the ground in future, and to be swift to act before the borers move into the main stem of the tree. Not only will this action stop further spread of the infestation, but also save the affected trees. A CHAP entomology team next visited Mr. Martin Karanja, a retired carefree entomology technologist who resides in Limuru Sub-County, Kiambu County. Martin proceeded on retirement in 1995 after 35 years of technical support of the colonial East African Community and National Forestry Research Administrations. He was instrumental in gathering field specimens and the curation of reference. Martin had reported the presence of peaches and red plums growing on his farm. On the material day of the visit, the team learned from Martin how and where he found signs of the infestation. This video covers the tour around his farm, during which he shared his expertise by leading the visiting team through the process of specimen collection. Mrs. Leah Karanja readily accompanied the group, and she too shared a perspective on identifying and protecting the affected plants.
The leaves, it doesn't matter about the leaves, it destroys the stem. When you see the frass, you know it is there and it is eating. And when you remove the larva, everything will disappear. And you see the plant growing, becoming happy, like the ones I showed you near the silage. When you remove it, you see the new branches coming out, and very happy.
Signs of borer infestation to look out for in standing trees. An adult borer probes the shoots of a susceptible plant, looking for a suitable place to lay its eggs. The lightly gnawed areas develop distinct scratch markings that can be seen on close examination of the branches. After eggs have been successfully laid, they hatch into larvae, and thereafter the upper part of the shoot dies or wilts. This encourages the borer larvae to create galleries leading downward into the living part of the tree. As larvae make their way down, this damages the inner part of the plant, making it weak and susceptible to breakage. The galleries can extend all the way to the roots in some instances. Soon, the presence of the insect borers is confirmed by frass found on the ground, the sure indication of such an attack.
When it comes to lay the eggs, about a foot from the top or something like that, then make sure that it girdles. You see that? All round. Confirming that. Now, and then just next to it, about half an inch here, she'll lay the egg. And don't forget, it has to dig this skin and lay the egg inside there.
In the skin or in the wood?
In the wood. In the wood. In the wood. You see? And then after that, it has made sure that that part will definitely die. No question about it.
The upper part will die.
Yeah. And the larva is also clever in its own way. When it comes out, it doesn't go up that way. It will go down this way. You see? It can go even to the roots. You see? Because it takes quite a bit of time. Quite a long time. Yes. And then finally it pupates. Don't forget, as it goes down, the hole becomes bigger and bigger inside the wood.
Collection of borer specimens. In this field excursion, Martin demonstrated the collection of adult borers using. According to him, using a pair of forceps could trigger the insect to fly away. Hence, it is preferred to make a surprise capture. One has to be careful where to hold the insect though, since adult insect borers might bite the hand during collection.
If you try to hold it with a forceps, you may drop. You may not see it again.
On this farm, borers were found on the peaches. It was possible to collect some immature stages of the insects as well. Martin demonstrated how to identify affected twigs of the peaches by keenly checking trees as one walks around, and the best way to collect the larvae from the twigs. He advised on the labeling of the collected specimens and the stages of preservation. He confirmed that larvae specimens should be immediately preserved in Cayley's solution upon collection to preserve the original color and shape before being moved into 70% alcohol solution for future and long-term preservation. Managing damage caused by insect wood borers on fruit trees. The larvae bore galleries inside tree twigs, destroying the affected part of the plant as it becomes hollow. The twig has to be broken apart for proper collection of the larvae. According to Martin, the best way of controlling tree borers from spreading is through routine checks of the trees. If borers are detected to be present, the affected parts should be pruned and burnt. Once the affected twigs have been cut off, new ones sprout, ensuring survival of the tree. It is normally impossible to manage an infestation and save a tree if the infestation is left unattended to the extent that the borers find their way inside the trunks and twigs of the tree. Should the tree or plant thus be adversely affected, it should be destroyed completely by removal from the orchard followed by burning. This situation was what the team encountered in Kajiado County as earlier mentioned.